Yes, once again, welcome one and all. And today's second speaker is Mr. Hemant Kumar Reddy, sir, and he completed his BTech in Civil Engineering from Annamacharya Institute of Technology and Sciences, Kadapa, and he did a Master's in Structural Engineering from Vignan Foundation for Science and Technology and Research, Guntur, and he is currently pursuing his PhD from Vignan Foundation and Science and Technology and Research, which is deemed to be a university from Guntur. And his area of research and interest is in repairs and rehabilitation of concrete structures, such as the retrofitting of concrete structures with carbon fiber reinforced polymers and ferro cement. His major research interests on durability and mechanical properties of CFRP wrapped concrete structures. He published 7 research papers in international and international journals from Elsevier. He participated in 8 international and national conferences. He is an affiliated member in ASC American Society, that is American Society of Civil Engineers. He is a young member of International Union of Laboratories and Experts in Construction Material System and Structures. So it's my immense pleasure to have Hemant sir to here. Sir, good evening, sir.
Right. A very good morning, one and all. It's immense pleasure to me to I'm inviting me to this lecture series. Is very thankful to Dr. Sriram Chand sir and Avnesh sir and other coordinators. Today, I'm going to present giving a lecture about repair and rehabilitation of concrete structures. So, in this, we are going for introduction, distress of concrete structures, condition survey, repair materials and techniques, rehabilitation techniques, etc. So once we go through introduction, since 1950s, the construction activity in India have been increasing geometrically without matching increasing availability of quality inputs in terms of materials and skilled workmen. The factors contributing to damage distress in buildings starting from the construction stage. So, construction document containing adequate specifications and instructions required to execute quality works. However, they remain as written document without achieving desired level of results. Because of lack of understanding of this significance by field engineers, the factors such as placing, compaction, curing of concrete, which have been significantly influence on the concrete quality. Many times the quality of concrete has placed and hardened in position of correlation to cube tests, which are used for quality control measures. Procedures, mandatory or otherwise, for periodic inspection of buildings and documenting the defects in logical manner and recording of structural repairs already carried out are generally not followed or maintained. The words maintenance is preventive in nature. Activities including inspection and work necessary to fulfill the intended function or to sustain original standard of service. The word repair conveys small and ordinary repairs which are not of structural significance. Rehabilitation is to restore a distressed structure back to its original durability. Retrofitting. Retrofitting is upgrading of structural and non-structural systems to provide a higher level of resistance than existing before. Once we go through the districts of concrete structures, before attempting any repair procedure, it is necessary to have a planned approach to investigate the condition of concrete and reinforcement. Inspection calls for detailing mapping of affected areas, documentation of type of locational symptoms, and their historical evidences. The existence of concrete ducts, water lines, wet areas are require special attention. A comprehensive inspection data helps in making an effective strategy for repair and rehabilitation. Intrinsic and extrinsic cause distresses. Cause of distresses, once we go through construction deficiency is an intrinsic. In this, we will go for seeing a physical and chemical distresses. In physical distresses, they are high water cement ratio, inadequate curing, purely graded aggregate, inadequate compaction, shattering joints, not surely tight, covering thickness being lesser, wrong placement of reinforcement. Once we go through chemical in the construction deficiency, Chloride infected beyond permissible limits either through construction water and or aggregates. Sulfate being beyond permissible limits in construction water or aggregates or diffusion from adjacent environment. Reactive aggregates containing amorphous silica are stated to cause alkali silica reaction. Environmental is it to be extinct. In this, physically, it would be heating or cooling conditions, wetting, drying conditions, abrasion of surface. Once it go for chemical, chloride attack from sludge of toilets, seawater, atomic gases, acids. Sulfate attack from soil, subsoil water, industrial waste or gases, acids. Design deficiency, it is an intrinsic deficiency, wrong assessment of design loads, factors like shrinkage, disintegration of concrete, shrinkage, thermal movement, and structural behavior. When we see in the high water cement ratio, what will be happen? Concrete with high water cement ratio is also more susceptible to cracking and shrinkage. Shrinkage lead to micro cracks which are zones of weakness. More water results in larger space of cement particles as the crystal grow. They are too far apart night together and form strong bonds. Once we go through the picture, it should be low water cement ratio aggregate. How is seen at high water cement ratio? How aggregate is going to be seen. Inadequate curing. Due to inadequate curing, concrete develops plastic single cracks, thermal cracks, along with considerable loss in strength of the surface layer.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, PPT is not showing, sir. Your slide was not showing.
One second. Yeah, sorry.
Yes, sir. Now it is okay.
Yeah. Then once we go through inadequate curing, due to the inadequate curing, concrete develops plastic single cracks, thermal cracks, along with a considerable loss in strength of the surface layer. Inadequate curing of concrete results in the loss of properties of surface layer of concrete up to 30 to 50 mm. Not meeting the requirements of the design in terms of durability, strength, and abrasion resistance. Poorly graded aggregate. Poorly graded aggregate is characterized by small variations in size. This means that particles pack together, leaving relatively large voids in the concrete. As we see in picture, well graded and poorly graded aggregates. Poorly graded concrete generally requires extensive amount of cement paste to fill the voids, making them uneconomical. Gap graded concretes fall in between well graded and poorly graded in terms of performance and economy. Inadequate compaction. Problems that might arise if compaction of concrete is not carried out properly, such as honeycomb and trapped inside concrete paste. Honeycomb concrete and cold joints once we seen in that picture. Moreover, poor compaction of concrete could be permeability problems and therefore steel corrosion and decreasing ultimate capacity of hot-air concrete. Chemical. In this, chloride attack is the reaction of chloride with moisture present in the concrete which corrode the reinforcement. As we see in picture, chloride ingress to concrete that lead to be damage of passive film and rust is formed at aggressive environment. Chloride enters the concrete from cement, water, aggregate, and sometimes from admixtures or by diffusion from environment. It reduces the alkalinity of concrete and protective passivity layer can be lost, which it reduces the alkalinity of concrete and protective passivity layer. Sulfate attack. Solid salts such as sulfates, which are not directly attack concrete. However, when in solution, they can react with certain components of cement paste, leading to expansion, cracking, and spalling of concrete. Once we see the mechanism of sulfate attack in picture, sulfate solution from the environment and diffusion sulfates into concrete crack forms. Hydration of hydrated C3A, conversion of C3A to presence and expansion of crack is observed. The most common forms of sulfate are sodium sulfate, potassium sulfate, magnesium sulfate, and calcium sulfate. These above sulfates are common in natural groundwater conditions. Condition survey. Condition survey is an examination of concrete for the purpose of identification and defining area of distress. The objective of condition survey of a building structure is to identify causes of distress and their sources, to assess the extent of distress occurred due to corrosion, fire, earthquake, or any other reason, and the residual strength of the structure and its rehabilitability. The properties, the distressed elements according to seriousness for repairs and rehabilitation. We select and plan the effective remedy. The 4 stages of condition survey is, once we go through the flow chart, in the first stage, preliminary survey site visit, establishment aims and information required. Documentation survey, preliminary site visit. Second, planning stage, set interpretation rules, field specifications. By then, we will go through stage 3, visual inspection stage. Visual inspection that needs to be structural necessary, non-destructive test. At 4th stage, testing non-destructive stage that leads to be analysis and interpretation and reporting. Class of damage and repair classification. This is the major part in the classification of damage. So these are to be a 5 classes. That will be class 0. Repair classification should be cosmetic. General observation on the condition of concrete is only final finishes defected, no structural distress observed. Repair requirements, not redecoration if required. Class 1 damage, superficial. Final finishes, skin alone damage, no structural cracks observed. Carbonation depends not yet reached reinforcement level. Superficial repair of slight damage to non-structural finishes. It may be, it is the drawback of high water cement ratio that lead to the honeycombs like that. In class damage of 2, this classification is to be patch repair. General observations, minor structural cracks observed and our carbonation depths reached reinforcement level. Non-structural or minor structural repairs limited to crack sealing, restoring the lost cover concrete if any due to the corrosion of reinforcement. Carbonation resistant surface protective coating, other repair materials reinforced with nominal light steel fabric. At class 3, classification, principal repair, spalling of cover concrete, major structural cracks including cracks along reinforcement due to corrosion or otherwise leading to substantial reduction of load carrying capacity. This leads to be repair requirements of structural repair to reinforced concrete in accordance with load carrying requirement of the member. Concrete strength may be externally low and reinforcement area might be significantly reduced, requiring check by design procedure. Class 4 is the major repair, major structural loss necessity replacement of structural member, major strengthening repair ignoring the original concrete and reinforcement and recasting. List of test methods that could be deployed for field laboratory testing during the course of investigation. These are the tests: proper investigation for the corrosion of embedment steel, concrete quality, durability, and deterioration. These are the tests we need to be done at field level and laboratory level. Offset potential, resistivity, cover depth, linear polarization resistance, chloride concentration. Concrete quality, for concrete quality, surface hardness, ultra pulse velocity, radiography, radiometer, relative humidity, permeability, absorption, petrography, sulfate content, expansion, air content, cement type, abrasion resistance. For concrete strength, these are all mechanical properties: pull out, pull off, core, break off, internal fracture, penetration resistance. For chemical and electrically, maternity, maturity, temperature match, curing is normal condition. Integrity and performance, tapping, pulse echo, dynamic response, thermography, radar, reinforcement location, strain or crack measurement, load test. These are some of the non-destructive evolution tests are frequently adopted during the condition survey. For the test method, for concrete strength, the rebound hammer test. For qualitative field test method to measure surface hardness of concrete. Ultra pulse velocity, measurement of ultra pulse velocity. Windsar probe, a quality field test for assessment of near surface strength of concrete. Pull out test, as same as to see the hardness of concrete. Core cutting sample, strength, density, texture, and permeability at lab testing. Load test, a field test of assessment in load carrying capacity within the limits of elastic deformations. Chemical attack, carbonation test, chloride test, sulfate test for pH of concrete, for total water soluble chlorides. For corrosion potential assessment, cover meter, profometer measurement. If these are the field methods of measuring thickness of cover concrete, reinforcement diameter, reinforcement spacing. Haussel method. This is the method for measuring floating corrosion potential for assessing probability of corrosion. Resistivity meter. A field method for assessing electrical resistivity of concrete to determine its corrosion resistance. Permeability for water and air. A field and lab method for assessment of in situ permeability of concrete due to water and air. Fire damage assessment. Thermogravity analysis. TGA. Differential thermal analysis, TTA, X-ray diffraction, XRT. For all these, we are going that should be lead to fire damage assessment. Next, repair materials and techniques. The essential parameters for deciding upon a repair materials for concrete is lower shrinkage properties, hardening properties, workability, good bond strength with existing substrate, compatibility coefficient of thermal expansion, compatible mechanical properties and strength to that of substrate. You should allow the relative moment if expected, particular in case of sealing of cracks or dealing with expansion joints. It should be no minimal or no curing requirement. Alkaline character, low air and water permeability, cost, efficiency, asynthetic to match with surroundings, durable, non-degradable or non-biodegradable due to various forms of energy like UV rays and heat, etc. in environment. Non-hazardous, not polluting to environment. Materials for repair. Application range covers for repair materials for surface preparation, materials for surface preparation, chemical rust removers for corroded reinforcement, passivators for reinforcement protection, bonding agents, structural repair materials, non-structural repair materials, injection grouts, joint sealant, surface coatings for protection of RCC. All these should be different materials by means of brands, etc. For this, the categories are classified. Pre-mixed cement concrete or mortars modified with non-polymeric admixture additives, polymers, latex modified cement additives for mortar concretes in cement saline, epoxy and resins, chemicals for corrosion inhibitors, removal of rust. Pre-mixed cement concrete mortars. The cement concrete and mortars are most natural repair materials for carrying out the repairs to RCC, yet they are not favored as a repair material due to its inherent undesirable properties like drying shrinkage, slow setting, low workability, prolonged curing requirement, permeability. Cements form one of the most basic material used for not only new construction but also repair material. Selection of appropriate type of cement for new construction as well as repair work is important to determine the final efficiency and durability of structures. Types of cement for repair. Ordinary portland cement as per IS 456 allows to use 33 certificate of OPC for most repair purposes if necessary modification by suitable administrators or additives. Whereas grade 53 cement or cement having still higher fineness could be more suitable for injection grouting of cracks or honeycomb concrete refullery with no string admixture in suitable proportion. Portland slag cements and Portland pozzolanic cements. Generally, these cements have low heat of hydration, better sulfate and corrosion resistance, and have low permeability. These are more suitable for using marine structures and structures having contact with soils and water containing high percentage of sulfates and acids. Shrinkage compensating expansive cements. Shrinkage expansive cements are using to minimize cracks caused by drying shrinkage in repair concrete in addition to its use in concrete structures. Drying shrinkage is caused by moisture loss from concrete. Polymer modified mortars and concretes that are PMM or PMC. The process technology of making a latex modified mortar and concrete is similar to that of the conventional binding systems. Most polymers such as latex are in the depressed form. The materials used in polymer modified systems are same as those employed in normal mortar and consenting operation, but for the latex which are used as modifiers. In this, cement, aggregate and materials such as alkali resistant glass, steel, polypropylene, polyvinyl alcohol, and polymers with long molecules built by combination of single unit called monomers are essential hydrocarbons. The process of conversion of monomers into polymers is called polymerization. In civil engineering, in these days, polymers obtained from monomer at ambient temperature are important for practical point of view. Epoxies and epoxy material. Epoxy mortars, concrete. Epoxies are common category of polymers, but in case of epoxy, the polymerization process takes place when two materials called epoxy resin and hardener come in contact with corrosion in discrete proportion. The epoxy resin materials have good mechanical strength, chemical resistance, and easy of working. These are being used in civil engineering for high performance coating, adhesive injection coating, high performance systems, industrial flooring, or grouting, etc. Epoxy mortar concrete. Epoxy resins are used with aggregate to produce epoxy mortar or epoxy concrete, which is used for structural repairs of concrete. RCC, besides, is used in new construction in industrial flooring, foundation grouting, roads, etc. They are normally used where volume of materials is not large and where rapid curing can be applied. The rate of curing epoxy mortar is directly dependent on ambient temperature. Repair techniques. In this, epoxy injection is injection of epoxies under pressure may be used to bond the cracks having greater than or equal to 0.05 mm opening. The method is not applicable to crack. It is active if the cracks are large in number or when water leakage cannot be controlled. Crack injection can be used to successfully perform on cracks as narrow as 0.013 mm in width with general epoxy injection resistant cracks with less width can be injected with epoxy. Routing and sealing of cracks. In this method, the crack is enlarged along its exposed face to form a V-shaped groove up to a minimum width of 6 mm and a depth of 6 to 25 mm. The groove thus formed is filled and sealed with suitable material. A common and effective use of technique is to waterproof the concrete surface where water stands. Cement floors are avoided due to the chance of further cracking. Once we see the figures, the original crack, once groove cut is or chipping tool, that is routing, and we are going for sealing and joint sealing. Concrete crack repaired by stitching. Stitching procedure consists of drilling holes on both sides of cracks, cleaning the holes and anchoring the legs of staples in holes with either a non-string grout or epoxy resin based on bonding system. Once we see in the figure, these are the stitching staples, holes within concrete tool. receive staples fill holes with notched engaged rotor epoxy. Drilling and trudging method. When it is required to repair a vertical crack with concrete that runs in straight lines, this is a good method for its cost efficiency and less time consumption. In this method, holes are drilled vertically in the cracks and key is formed by passing down a groove. The groove key drilled in concrete helps in preventing leakages. As we see in figure, first vertical cracks are drilled with drilling machine, inserting tube, then seal with sealing area. Grouting method of crack repair. Generally, in case of gravity dams and concrete wall large size crack form, they can be repaired by filling with Portland cement grout. This grout method is effective in stopping mainly water leakages, but in large structural bond cracks selections. As we see in figure, a pattern of holes is drilled and slurry is kept in the drilled holes. Rehabilitation techniques. As its repair and rehabilitation strategies, a number of options are available for giving a relief to distressed structure, which could cover any of the following that are reduction of dead or live loads, repair strengthening of column beam slab, improving compressive strength of concrete, attending to cracks and joints, providing protective cover against the aggressive infiltration chemical. In this strengthening when we go for strengthening techniques, those are steel jacketing, ferrocement jacketing, CFRP, JFRP wrapping. Once we see in picture, these are all steel jacketing for columns, footings, beams, column beam joints as steel rods and steel plates. Steel jacket retrofit has been used as method to enhance shear strength and ductility of square reinforced concrete columns in the existing building of Japan since 1995 after advocate. Confining reinforced concrete columns in steel jackets is one of the effective methods to improve concrete capacity. In this steel jacketing, two advantages majorly we see. It is easy to provide a large amount of transfer steel in strong confinement to the compressed concrete. It also to prevent this falling of the shell concrete. Falling of shell concrete may be considered as the main reason of introduction of bond and cutting of non-functional parts of columns, and this ought to be prevented by conventional tools. This is the process of steel jacketing. Firstly, we remove the old concrete cover, and then by cleaning the reinforcement steel parts using wipers or some sand compressor, coating the steel parts with epoxy material that would prevent erosion, installing steel jacket with the required size and thickness according to the design, and making openings to the port to then the epoxy material grouted the needed bond between concrete column and steel jacket, filling the space between the concrete column and the steel jacket with an appropriate epoxy material. These are the 5 phases from removing concrete cover to steel jacketing. Ferrocement. This is the process of ferrocement jacketing. For non-structural jacketing, then we go for a galvanic mesh or steel mesh for retrofitting of those concrete structures. This should be structural or non-structural element. Tree-shaped wire mesh, then mesh was wrapped with that sample. Installation of L-shaped mesh or steel angles for corner protection, then placing wooden mold, then final finished ferrocement jacket specimen is observed. These are the cross-sectional area of specimen. Once we go to the ferrocement in the construction of wire meshes and cement mortar mainly. Applications of ferrocement in construction were due to low self-rate, lack of skilled workers, no need for framework, etc. It was developed by P.L. Revy, an Italian architect in 1940. Constituent material for ferrocement: cement, fine aggregate, water, admixture, mortar mix, reinforcing mesh, skeleton steel, and coating of different paints for corrosion resistivity. Terracement jacket technique is applied by embedding closely spaced mesh of fine rocks with reinforcement ratio of 3 to 8% in high strength. Cement mortar layer of 10 to 50 mm thickness. The typical mortar mix consists of cement sand ratios, that is uh, 1 is with the water cement ratio of 0.4, causes considerable increase in the stiffness. For this ferro cement, we will see the advantages. Basically, raw materials are readily available in most countries. Fabricated in the desired shape is easy. Lower labor skilled labor is required. Easy to construct. Low material cost is low. Better in relation with the workplace. Disadvantages: structures can be punctured by collision with pointed objects. Corrosion of reinforced material due to the incomplete coverage of metal by mortar. It is difficult to fasten ferro cement with bolts, grills, welding, and nail, etc. Large number of labor is required. Cost of semi-skilled and unskilled labor is high. Tying rods and mesh together is essential threads and time consuming. Then the main retrofitting and rehabilitation concept nowadays, CFRP wrapping and carbon fiber reinforced polymer and glass fiber reinforced polymer wrapping is a major constraint in the rehabilitation of concrete structures in this 20th century. Once we go for how the FRP evaluation is made, the combination of APC conventional materials, the materials most advantageous materials for using APC. All APC structures at from 1974 to 2017, as per rehabilitation consumed at early 90s, non-metallic reports consumed at mid-90s. Construction using APC conventional materials composite structure units from 2000 to 2017 onward. Deterioration the rehabilitation structural strengthening of structures is rapidly growing. Once we see that FRP materials for retrofitting concrete structures were first reported as early as 1978 in Germany. These limited commercial applications of FRP parts and other forms were started during 70s. From the mid-1980s, the use of an external mounted FRP system strengthen and retrofit existing structures gained momentum in various parts of the world. FRP systems were first applied to reinforced concrete columns for confining in Japan in 1980s. Development of ports in Europe, Japan, Canada, and USA is still going, but we are using the codes of USA, ACA 448 and 442 are commercial FRP and epoxy to be used should be specified and tested by relevant ACA code. The adoption of FRP technology is a sustainable solution because it can increase existing structures, lives at fraction of material cost, and construction efforts need to be replaced the structure and save a lot of energy and clean. Types of FRP materials: carbon fiber reinforced polymer (CFRP). These carbon fibers have a high modulus of elasticity of 200 to 800 dpa. The ultimate elongation is 0.3 to 2.5%, where the lower elongation corresponds to the higher stiffness and vice versa. Carbon fibers do not absorb water and are resistant to many chemical solutions. They withstand pedigree extensively and neither corrode or show any vapor relaxation. Once we go through glass fiber reinforced polymer, glass fibers are basically made with mixing of silica sand, limestone, folic acid, and other minor ingredients. These mixings heated until the melts at about 1260 degrees centigrade. Based on an aluminum lime borosilicate composition, glass protein fibers are considered as the predominant reinforcement of polymer materials, lattice composites, due to their high electrical insulating properties, low susceptibility to moisture, and high mechanical properties. Armid fiber reinforced polymer. Armid is short form of aromatic polyamide. This module of fibers of 70 to 200 dpa with an ultimate elongation of 1.5 to 5% depending on the quality. Armid has a high fracture energy and is therefore used for helmets and bulletproof garments. They are sensitive to elevated temperature, moisture, and ultraviolet radiation, and therefore not widely used in significant applications. But by using of ferro cement some extensively some research is going on for Armit fiber reinforced polymer right now for extension using civil engineering applications. Applications of CFR in concrete structures. CFR, once we go through for the CFRP, there are CFRP strips, CFRP bags, CFRP laminates, and CFRP bars. CFRP strips. They are mainly techniques that are used in CFRP strips laminates for strengthening concrete structures such as externally bonded CFRP sheets and near surface mounted FRP. The performance of strengthening methods depends on the strength of adhesive UV to bond CFRP to concrete surface and the degree of stress at the interface of concrete and CFRP. The CFRP strips are only 20% of weight of strips. Similar products made by high strength steel but are at least 4 times stronger. Their high strength to weight ratio makes the CFRP strips easy to handle and reduce installation costs. Strips of CFRP measuring just 8 mm thickness. CFRP wraps. CFRP wrapping is used for the rehabilitation of national products and used for strengthening techniques for flexural shear and axial and flexural shear for beam. These are special preparation wrapping of concrete cylinders for laboratory purpose. Thank you. These are some of the references of my publications and other product provisions for this repair and rehabilitation of structures. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Hemant sir. Thank you for the informational lecture.